Each of the FM is 90.9. The music of Aswad, 5446, of course, made popular, of course, by a gentleman who is no longer with us, but that's for another conversation. Right now, we want to say a very good morning to past District Governor Trevor Blake, Assistant District Governor as well, Francis Ann Satney, and past President and now Secretary of the Rotary Club of Liamuiga, and the PDG Trevor Blake and the Assistant District Governor Satney from the St. Kitts Rotary Club and from the Rotary Club of Liamuiga. Anyway, in case you're getting confused, Liamuiga means St. Kitts means Liamuiga, but it's the time that they have the meetings that's the difference. One is having the meeting in the morning, and the other is having the meeting in the afternoon. So don't get confused and say, well, what's going on with these people with Liamuiga and St. Kitts and all that. So that's what's happening. Let me say a very good morning to you. Good morning, PDG Blake. Good morning.
Good morning, Rotarian Clive, past president, I should say. It's a pleasure for me to be here with my colleagues this morning.
A little closer, please, the mic.
Well, thank you very much for the disclosure. I really appreciate it. Let me say a very good morning as well to Assistant District Governor Satney. How do you do?
I'm great. Good to be here as well in such distinguished company.
I think you guys are going to carry up the price of this property the way you get it all, man. And of course, a gentleman who used to be a friend of mine, Secretary Marcus Natter, Dr. Marcus Natter. Very good morning to you as well.
Good morning, and I guess good evening, good afternoon, depending on where your persons are in the world.
You sound a bit like Dr. Gabriesus. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, and so on. But thanks for being here. First of all, let me formally apologize to you and to our listeners. We are running late, entirely my fault. I plea for your forgiveness, and we'll try to see how much we can actually get in on the program right now. So we're going to have some opening comments from the past District Governor, Trevor Blake. They will reveal to you why they took time out of their busy schedule to be here with us this morning. So over to you, PDG Blake.
Thank you, Clive. Good morning to everyone who's within the sound of my voice, whichever medium you're listening in on. Today is a very, very special day, which is why I have such esteemed colleagues here with me this morning. Today is the 116th birthday of Rotary International. So 160 years ago, on the 23rd of February 1905, Rotary International was established. At the time it started 160 years ago, of course it wasn't the big organization that we do have now. It was just a small event by one lonely solicitor in Chicago, who had moved to the city of Chicago a few years before, and found that it was a very distant and cold city. He had come from a small town in Illinois, and he yearned for that small town feel where he had friends around, and that familial sort of camaraderie that one gets in small societies. We in St. Kitts here know that. So he gathered a few friends, a few professional men, I should say, and invited them to a meeting to have lunch with them so that they could talk about the city. They were all immigrants to the city. They were all from different parts of Illinois, but had moved to Chicago. So it's somewhat like him. They were a bit lonely. So they gravitated towards that meeting that he had invited them to have lunch and discuss things for their own benefit, for their own advancement as professional men. So that was the foundings of Rotary 160 years ago. Of course, having started meeting and discussing things for their own benefits and things like that, they thought, well, there must be a greater purpose to this. We could use our respective talents to do more, not just look after our own benefits, but how do we give back something to society? So they started first with a sanitation project in the city of Chicago, where they created what they termed, what is termed public comfort stations, but it really was lavatories across in Chicago. And therein, Rotary then transformed into a service organization. And over the years, over the 116 years, I mean, Rotary has moved from that one public gesture of creating that comfort station to doing amazing good in the world today. So we think this is something that we have to celebrate here in St. Kitts Nevis, being a part of this Rotary world, this international organization, Rotary International. Our clubs thought that we needed to share this wonderful story with the public here today on this remarkable milestone, 116 years. Not many organizations, as you would know, could boast of having survived so long and having done so much for mankind. I think it is something that we all should celebrate.
Well, thank you very much for those opening comments. And you said the word men, and I just perked up right away because I see the ADG in the corner there, and I know there was a time when she would have to wait outside until the meeting was over. So let me invite some comments from your perspective, ADG, about Rotary as you see it and the role of women in the Rotary organization.
Thank you very much, Rotarian Clive. Oh yes, indeed, we waited for many, many, many years. I was fortunate by the time I came in, all the groundwork and legwork had already been done by some strong women who advocated and shared what women could do, the difference that women can make, and in making their contribution in organizations like Rotary. And in fact, we have, next couple of years, we will have our first female.
In 2 years.
In 2 years, yes, our first Rotary International president. So it's a great feeling, and we all know, not taking away anything from what men can contribute, but I mean, it does make a difference when we have both genders. I'll be safe by saying that. Contribute to organizations like Rotary. In fact, just last evening I was discussing, and PDG helped me out here, do we still have, I think there's 1 or 2 Rotary clubs where we may still have just men, right?
Yes,
yeah.
Unfortunately,
yeah.
we do have, in our district, we do have 3 such clubs, regrettably. But they're a dying breed.
But well, we're moving along. We're doing what we have to do and making our contribution, yeah.
And I must ask you before I go to Secretary Marcus, how do you see Rotary now? Of course, you had the journey. Now you're here now, and women are playing a more significant role, but not harping on the fact that women are there as well, but how has the organization evolved with the presence of women, and of course the fact that you've got brand new technology. Could you speak a little bit about that for me?
Yeah, and just to continue a bit from where PDG Trevor left off, where he spoke about that first project, say sanitization, and I want to advance all the way where vaccinations are the talk of the day, is the talk of the day, and polio, the work that Rotary did in the step to eradicating polio across the world is so remarkable. And women have stepped up, whether it's being part of teams going out into remote areas to help with that project. As I said, we are going to have our first female Rotary International president. And I think for Rotary, we have brought it to the forefront in terms of diversity and inclusion and ensuring that not only just women. So I want to say we have gone beyond that and ensuring that it's all inclusive, that everyone who has a contribution, whether it's from your skill, profession, just the dying need to serve humanity, that there's an opportunity within Rotary. So yes, women across, in fact, our incoming district governor is a woman, Sonia Arling from Barbados. So I think we still need a lot more in our own club. We only have 7 or 8 women and 27 men in terms of our membership. I'm not
Well,
sure.
you know, one
Marcus,
good
I
woman is
haven't-
equal to about 5 men.
Yeah. so there's still some way to go. I mean, with that, but I don't think we make the effort, but I don't think we dwell too much on it to say that that it's keeping us back or it poses a challenge. Wherever the women are present, we step up, we do what we have to do, and I think throughout all clubs, their presence is felt.
Thank you very much. Let's go to Secretary Marcus, who likes to look at standards. Let me ask him a bit about the standards of Rotary at the moment in terms of being inclusive. Are you closer now with other clubs because of the technology, or is it still a challenge in getting the really big projects done?
Well, thanks again, Clive, for the opportunity. And inclusive in terms of what's happening now with the pandemic, we have actually gotten a lot closer, I believe. The ability to have our meetings virtually and invite persons, other Rotarians from across the globe, and even non-Rotarians. We've used it sort of also as a recruitment tool as well, because we can, persons can sit in their offices and, invite co-workers to tune into our meetings, and we've had that. And we've actually forged some relationships recently with other Rotary clubs in the US and in the UK specifically. And so hopefully once things sort of get back to some sort of sense of normalcy where persons can travel, we can even build on these relationships some more and create some projects. For our club, the Rotary Club of Liamuiga, we have long partnered with clubs. We had a diabetic foot care project, which is actually still ongoing, that started with a matching grant from clubs in the UK, the United Kingdom. And so we've long forged these partnerships, but again, the ability to speak to anyone across the globe virtually and invite them to meetings or other sessions has proven to be a great resource for us, so much so that we have begun hybrid meeting sessions. So you mentioned earlier that we meet for breakfast each Wednesday, but once a month we have decided to do virtual meetings where we can then interact with our friends and colleagues across the globe as well.
Now, we talk about Rotary International, but because you're home, people want to hear about home. Mm-hmm. Let's look a little bit at the scorecard, some of the highlights of Rotary in St. Kitts and Nevis in particular, and some of the legends.
Who should go?
Right. Well, as you know, Rotary has been in St. Kitts for now almost 52 years. The Rotary Club of St. Kitts, my club, our club, was launched on the 11th of July, 1969. And I want to pause here as I say this, because our charter president was the late PDG Fred Lamb, and his widow has just recently passed. So I would like to extend my condolences and the condolences of the Rotary family here in St. Kitts to the family of the late Betty Lamb. But PDG Freddie was our founding president, and he was responsible for the growth of Rotary, not only in St. Kitts and Nevis, but across many islands, including Dominica, where our AG is from originally, and other parts of the certainly in our district in 7030. He was also very instrumental in developing the district as it is now. And over the 50 years, the 52 or so years, Rotary has done many things, countless projects in St. Kitts and Nevis. Our sister club, the Rotary Club of Liamuiga, has come on some years after, of course, but have played a full part in actually carrying out the program of Rotary in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. There are some remarkable projects across St. Kitts and Nevis that our clubs have been involved in. Rotary Club of St. Kitts has been involved in health care, across the federation, things like assisting with medical services for needy persons who probably need to travel abroad, or even for medical care here at home. We've been involved in providing ambulances for the federation. We've been instrumental in an entire wing at the JNF hospital for the eye care clinic. We have partnered with the Ministry of Health on a number of initiatives, and Past President Marcus could talk about that. He mentioned the diabetic foot care program and things like that. So we have done quite a number of projects here in St. Kitts and Nevis. And it's not limited to medical services. We have done our part in education. We have done our part in road safety. We have done our part in so many fields. I mean, I don't think there's any aspect of life in St. Kitts that Rotary has not touched and enhanced in some way. We have been involved in housing, providing homes for persons, refurbishing homes for persons. We have been involved in elderly care, in sharing with the needy, and that goes on a regular basis. It's an ongoing project that we have here in both clubs.
Mm-hmm.
So there are a number of things that Rotary has done for the Federation of St. Kitts over the past 50 or so years. It has been in St. Kitts Nevis.
I'm going to ask Secretary Marcus to add a few. I know we tend to mirror projects. You have your health projects, your prostate project from the St. Kitts.
Right.
Then you have the diabetes project, diabetic foot care project from Liamuiga. You have other things that are mirrored, not quite the same, but similar. So, Secretary Marcus.
Yeah, so for our club, the Rotary Club of Liamuiga, I think one of the substantive projects we have is our annual primary school spelling bee competition. We've had it for the past 15 years, save for last year, and we all recognize why we weren't able to do it last year, and we hope to do it this year. But that project is a major project that we use to help promote literacy, promote reading and grammar and all of that. And the corporate community just showers us with their generosity for that project in particular. The young people need wheelbarrows to take out all of the gifts that they get. So whether or not they win, they always get something good, as well as the teachers and the school that get gifts as well. And another one is our annual National Heroes Day Luncheon, where we go to the Sadler's Home for the elderly, and we invite persons from around that community, and we look at these as our unsung heroes. We sit with them and we share stories and sing and all of that. That's one of the most heartwarming ones. And we have our annual Christmas hamper distribution. I know the Rotary Club of St. Kitts also distributes food hampers, as well as toiletries and other necessities to those who are most vulnerable in our society. So I know sometimes persons may ask, well, why are there two Rotary clubs? But when we do these projects, we recognize that the needs of our people are so vast and far-reaching that we don't recognize it on a day-to-day basis. And so having multiple Rotary clubs in our islands and in our district is very essential to making sure that we canvass the communities as much as we can and provide the support and the services, the needs, and provide needs for these persons. Our motto is service above self, and I really think that we live up to that motto, each and every one of us, and we do things, I'm sure, individually, but persons recognize us always as, oh, I remember you from this project, I remember Trevor. So Trevor might be doing something just, on his own, not thinking about the club or anything like that, but doing a service to someone personally, and they would recognize him as a Rotarian, and that goes a long way in us making sure that we live up to the goals and ideals of Rotary International, and to let persons know that somebody cares, and Rotarians do care here in St. Kitts and Nevis.
Well, I'm going to ask for a brief comment from each of you.
Mm-hmm.
Why Rotary? How Rotary? When Rotary? Who wants to go first?
I'll probably, before I answer directly, wanted to share as well, in addition to, we spoke about projects, but just talk a little about our Rotary family, which is beyond just our Rotary clubs. We do have a Rotary Club, which Rotary Club of St. Kitts sponsored, and even beyond that, we have the Interact Club at our Bastia High School. I know Rotary Club of Liamuiga has as well, and we have gone further into establishing Early Act. So I'm sharing that to say that even in terms of sustainability, in ensuring that we do have other young persons in the community, this is an avenue for them to learn about Rotary from an early age. The Early Act children, they have done projects where they collected stuff to donate to those in need. So Rotary ensures that, I know lots of people maybe think of Rotary as probably these older, so to speak, persons, but we do reach out and find ways within the community for these other organizations which are part of the Rotary family. Why Rotary? Service above self. I think this is what we have in common. We all want to share from, as I said, our skills, whatever, collaboratively, that we can work with other organizations, whether it's government, whether it's local, whether it's international, to fulfill needs of persons in our community. Rotary takes time, it's commitment. We meet weekly. There are personal benefits as well. I mean, friendships that you develop over the years. I started in Dominica. When I came over to St. Kitts, I did not have to think twice about whether my Rotarians would welcome me with open arms, because there were persons I knew of before, whether we had attended conferences before. So that sort of friendship and bond you get within Rotary, and even now using technology, where you may not have attended international conferences before, but with technology you heard a name, and now from online meetings you can invite these persons to present to your clubs and sort of that. And Rotary is fun. We don't lose the opportunity to have fun. Obviously, with COVID, we haven't done that many fellowship projects, but it's great. It's a great organization to be in for your development. I was sharing as well, I mean, Rotary International, the Learning Center, RI Learning, the courses that are available. There's so much that as an individual you can learn from just being a Rotarian. So here's my 2 pence, and being proud, in fact, to be associated with Rotary for so many years.
Who's going to follow that?
Yes, is a hard act to follow there. I will just say, for me, on a personal note, I remember on my way back thinking about coming back home from studying from university, and I was like, what can I do, right, to give back? And immediately when I came, I knew a Rotarian, Pogson, who is in my club, still a Rotarian, and who was my roommate in university, but that's a whole other story. Good times. And I reached out to him and asked him about Rotary, and, did my research, and I saw that's where I fit, because for me, I wanted to give back. Not that, when I say give back, I'm not a rich person per se or anything like that, but the thing is with Rotary, I mean, it costs 0 cents to show that you care. It costs 0 cents to be decent to persons. It costs 0 cents to, just show someone some support. Other things, yes, we need funds, but that was the thing for me. I looked across the landscape in St. Kitts and Nevis, and I was like, this organization spoke to me. This organization mirrors what my ideas and philosophies are in terms of giving back to persons, whether it's time, talent, money, skills, as the case may be. And so that's, if anyone out there is passionate about giving back in any way, Rotary is the organization for you. I won't tell you which club to choose. But Rotary is the club you would definitely want to be a part of. And as past District Governor Trevor has said, I mean, we've survived and are thriving for 116 years, so we must be doing something right. And the needs in the world, although they ebb and flow, they're always there, and they're unique challenges now, and I think Rotary is poised to handle those challenges.
PDG?
Yes, I guess I was introduced to Rotary at a relatively young age, as back in the early to mid 80s as a Rotary actor. I'm a charter member of the Rotary Club of St, just incidentally, and from those early times, it always appealed to me as providing me a framework, a mechanism within which I could give back. Of course, the friendships and the fellowships, another thing that we could talk about. But here was I, someone with relatively little, who could then combine that might as MIT, that small bit that I did have at my disposal, with other persons similarly minded to make an even greater impact than I could do myself. I thought that was one of the major things for that Rotary provided me. Anybody with any heart would recognize that whatever he has or he or she has, one should try to make the best of it, do more with it and Rotary gives you that opportunity to combine your limited resources in a way to make a meaningful impact. One of the big things about Rotary, one of the most impactful things about Rotary International, is the Rotary International Foundation. And that's a charitable arm of Rotary that combines donations that are made to it and invests them to make meaningful impacts in the various programs that Rotary International does. And the numbers are staggering when we look at it. The amount of resources the Rotary International has, or the Rotary Foundation has marshaled and directed into the various programs of Rotary is staggering. Our biggest known project is perhaps the Polio Plus project, and everybody, I think, knows what Rotary has done together with its partners, the World Health Organization, the UN, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, in inoculating some over 3 billion children to practically eradicate polio from across the world. I think polio is now only endemic in 2 locations, and the numbers I've seen recently, I think for this year there has not been a case yet, at least identified, in Afghanistan or Pakistan. Last year, the number of cases, I think it was 56 in Afghanistan and 89 in Pakistan. So I think we are getting to the point where we could stand up and say that we are successful in eradicating polio from across the world. So why Rotary? Rotary is there to combine little things and the might that every individual has into a major force that could do good in the world. In fact, the vision of Rotary is together is to continue to do good in the world, and together we see a world where people unite and take action to make lasting change across the globe, in our communities and in ourselves. And what that says to us is that what we do, and when we come together and do as Rotary, we are making lasting changes in the world, making lasting changes in our communities, and by extension, we change within our own selves. So I think that is important. The other thing that is important for us, I think, or for me, is the motto, which is service above self. And here again, we call on each other to not necessarily look for our own benefit, but to put the needs of others even more prominently before our own. And then the 4-way test, something that bind all Rotarians. 4 simple questions. of the things we think shall do. One, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Three, will it build goodwill and better friendships? Fourthly, will it be beneficial to all concerned? And that if we all use that test in our daily lives, in whatever we do, whether it's on the job, in our homes, in our communities, if we all apply that simple 4-part test to our daily lives, I think we'll make a much better world.
Well, thank you very much, PDG. We're out of time. I want to apologize to our listeners. We will get to the news in just a Caribbean minute. I must allow my guests to wrap up with a parting comment that will include perhaps an offer of membership to somebody listening who may want to join. And I must again apologize for the late start of the news. Give me one more Caribbean minute, then we'll get to it. And in your wrap, can you speak a little bit to whether or not you're going to have permanent remote members? Now you have Zoom in the equation. So final comments, please. I'd like to begin with ADG.
Oh, thank you, Rotarian Clive. Yes, we do. I think that's going to be the way forward, Dual. We do have members for particular reasons who prefer online. So we meet our club, Rotary Club of St. Kitts. We meet on Thursdays at Poinciana Restaurant. We begin lunch at 12:30, but we also do have the opportunity for you to join us via a Zoom meeting. So we would welcome persons who have inquired about Rotary in the past. You have PDD Trevor here, myself, but just send us a note. We have our Facebook page. You can check us out on Rotary Club of St. Kitts and find contact details there.
Secretary Marcus?
Yes, so thanks again, Clive, for accommodating us, even though you were late.
Oh, boy. Here we
So
go.
we'll deal with you at the club level.
Matter of standards.
On that. But it was a great time, and so happy World Rotary Day to all my Rotarians globally. So on behalf of President Denise Aline, who is the president of our Rotary Club of Liamuiga, we just want to extend an invitation to all persons who are, young professionals, older professionals, whatever the case may be, even younger persons who would like to be in our Rotary Club, to, feel free to contact us. We are on social media platforms, Facebook and Instagram in particular, and you can visit our website at rotaryliamuiga.org. But just to say that Rotary is not an organization that is in any way restricting of persons in its membership. So we welcome all persons who are interested in service above self, in advancing the work in their communities to make their communities better, safer, etc. So we invite you to chat with any Rotarians. You usually see us wearing our little Rotary pins with our Rotary wheel. You can look out for any of our events and come to our events and express your interest. We are welcoming. Like I said, I won't tell you which club to choose. You find the one that suits you, but
if
recognize.
you keep saying that, you could have to pay a fine,
Recognize that, that both clubs and also our sponsored clubs are all about making our communities better. And if you're about that, then you're more than welcome to join us.
Well,
Thanks again, Clive.
Thank you so much. I hope the Sarge has noted you've made that reference several times. Seemed tongue-in-cheek. You'll be fined appropriately. Final comments, though, from PDG.
Yes, I just want to pick up from Past President Marcus left off. He said he wouldn't tell you which club to join. I will tell you. If you are a morning person and you have very little time at lunch, if your day is busy, join the Rotary Club of Liamuiga. If you're not a morning person like me, and you prefer to have lunch rather than breakfast, join the Rotary Club of St. Kitts. Whatever you do, join one of the Rotary clubs. I think you would be much better for it. You'll be joining a family of 1.2 million Rotarians. In fact, when we add the Rotary actors and the interactors and the early actors and the community corps, we have about 2 billion persons in every part of the world. I tell you from experience, I in the mid-80s, I went to London for school, And I was able to tap into the Rotaract family there, and had a I had a ready family, and a ready cadre of friends as a young student in London. So I mean, that was beneficial to me. Rotary opens opportunities, and there are tremendous opportunities for young people in particular, but for everyone. And we all are community-spirited persons. We all are we all are community-spirited persons. We all are social beings. And I don't think you'd find a better home for you to practice your philanthropy, your fellowship, to be yourself than in a Rotary Club. So I would invite all of you to join if you want breakfast. If you've got a substantive lunch.
Sarge.
Rotary Club of St.
The Sarge are going to have a happy day to both of you today. But I want to thank you very much for being here today. And again, apologize for my tardiness. Thank you so much, ADG Francis and Satney, PDG Trevor Blake, and of course, Secretary and past President of the Rotary Club of Liamuiga, Dr. Marcus Nader. And of course, we're available to you on time, the next time, hopefully. So let us know when you have the time for us to continue our conversations, because we haven't even touched why you have a wheel. That's another conversation for another time. Well, thank you so much.
You found the sound.